The Christian Russian author Dostoyevsky is widely regarded as one of the greatest novelists in world literature and influences modern literature, psychology, philosophy, and existential thought. He wrote a book called Crime and Punishment in 1866 as a warning to the world about the violent nature of atheist, Darwinist, Marxist ideas. He created me as the character Raskolnikov, a college student who has embraced atheism, Marxists, and Darwinist ideas about the value of human life. I murder a pawnbroker to obtain the money I need to pay for my college tuition because I considered my life more important than hers. When the police interview me, they ask about an article I have written for the paper. Dostoyevsky has me explain my thoughts this way. I suggested that an extraordinary man has the right, that is, not an official right, but his own right, to allow his conscience to step over certain obstacles, and then only in the event that the fulfillment of his idea, sometimes perhaps salutary for the whole of mankind, calls for it. You have been pleased to say that my article is unclear. I am prepared to clarify it for you as far as I can. I will perhaps not be mistaken in supposing that that seems to be just what you want. As you please, sir. In my opinion, if, as the result of certain combinations, Kepler's or Newton's discoveries could become known to people in no other way than by sacrificing the lives of 1 or 10 or 100 or more people who were hindering the discovery or standing as an obstacle in its path, then Newton would have the right, and it would even be his duty, to remove those 10 or 100 people in order to make his discoveries known to all mankind. It by no means follows from this, incidentally, that Newton should be allowed to kill anyone he pleases, right and left, or to steal from the market every day. Further, I recall developing in my article the idea that all, well, let's say, the lawgivers and founders of mankind, starting from the most ancient, and going on to the Lycurguses, the Solons, the Mohammeds, the Napoleons, and so forth, that all of them to a man were criminals, from the fact alone that in giving a new law they thereby violated the old one, held sacred by society and passed down from their fathers. And they certainly did not stop at shedding blood either, if it happened that blood, sometimes quite innocent, and shed valiantly for the old law, could help them. It is even remarkable that most of these benefactors and founders of mankind were especially terrible bloodshedders. In short, I deduce that all, not only great men, but even those who are a tiny bit off the beaten track, that is, who are a tiny bit capable of saying something new, by their very nature cannot fail to be criminals, more or less to be sure. Otherwise, it would be hard for them to get off the beaten track, and, of course, they cannot consent to stay on it, again by nature, and in my opinion, it is even their duty not to consent. In short, you see that so far, there is nothing especially new here. It has been printed and read 1,000 times. As for my dividing people into ordinary and extraordinary, I agree that it is somewhat arbitrary, but I don't really insist on exact numbers. I only believe in my main idea. It consists precisely in people being divided generally, according to the law of nature, into two categories. A lower one, ordinary people, who are, so to speak, material serving solely for the reproduction of their own kind, and people proper, that is, those who have the gift or talent of speaking a new word in their environment. The subdivisions here are naturally endless, but the distinctive features of both categories are quite marked. People of the first, or material category, are by nature conservative, staid, live in obedience, and like being obedient. In my opinion, they even must be obedient, because that is their purpose, and for them there is decidedly nothing humiliating in it. Those of the second category all transgress the law, are destroyers, or inclined to destroy, depending on their abilities. The crimes of these people, naturally, are relative and variegated. For the most part they call, in quite diverse declarations, for the destruction of the present in the name of the better. But if such a one needs, for the sake of his idea, to step even over a dead body, over blood, then within himself, In his conscience, he can, in my opinion, allow himself to step over blood. Depending, however, on the idea and its scale, make note of that. It is only in this sense that I speak in my article of their right to crime.